Hello, 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 everyone. I hope you can hear me. Okay, this is a question for today. What if your greatest transformation lives on the other side of surrender? Melissa K. Range, Igniting Change. So glad to be with you. So sorry I'm late, but I didn't know about this streaming stuff. And I'm learning. There's a learning curve to this kind of thing. And this is the first time I ever scheduled a video. And I didn't know what I was doing. And so now I'm going to have to figure that out. But this is so good for me. This is so good for me. And I'm going to try to make this a little bit smaller because I want to make sure you all can see me. I'm so glad to be here with you today. Today is Wednesday, and every Wednesday, my goal is to come on here at 12:30. And again, sorry for being late, but next week it will be different. So hope you all are having a super duper fabulous day. And today we're talking about like the flow of life and how my story around ballroom dancing. And I chose this topic because about a week and a half ago, I was thinking, what could I talk about on my next live? Because I'm all about fear to confidence. That is what my channel is about. Fear to confidence. And so many people have so much fear in their lives. Actually, let me do this. So many people have so much fear in their lives and they don't know how to conquer it. They don't know how to overcome it. They don't know what to do to get to the next step, to get to what my old coach used to call from A to B. And so that's really what I want to help people to do, because so many of us want to create things in our lives. We want to let go of what keeps us stuck. We want to move forward. We want change. And sometimes we don't think we want it or need it, but really in reality, we do want it and need it. And I have been at this space many, many, many times. And over the years, what I've learned is if I don't let go and I don't walk through the fear, I'm never going to get what I want. And that is, to me, truly what living is all about. And I'm all about truly living. I am not one of these people that wants to stay the same for the rest of my life. Although for a long time, I did love traditions. And I think traditions are important. And I think they're very helpful. But traditions, when you get so stuck in a place and you're not willing to change, or as your life changes, sometimes people in your life, they fall away, or your family members pass away, and you're forced to change. And what I learned over the years about that was I can make new traditions. I can do new things. I'm capable of doing something different, even though it may not feel really good at first, but then I can still move forward. Okay, so I want to tell you the story today, and I'm going to ask you some questions. And maybe you have a notebook or a piece of paper nearby, and you want to think about some of this because you're somebody who really, really wants to move through something that's scary, or you want to get something, a desire, a dream, a goal in your life, and you don't know how to do it. And you're thinking to yourself, well, maybe this Melissa has some information for me that can help me to get to my next level, to get to that space where I want to achieve, or I want to reach a goal, or I just want to leave something behind that I've been sitting with for so many years. And I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, not changing this thing. And that's really, and this is something last week I went on a webinar. I love you all to investigate and learn about things and listen to things. And I go on and I listen to people, and I study stuff because I just want to hear what people are saying about maybe a specific topic. And then I have to discern, do I want to listen to that person and say what they're doing is the truth, or what they're saying is the truth? Or am I going to discern for myself what it is that they're talking about? Is that my truth? Does that resonate with me? Does that align with my values? Does that align with who I am? And I was listening to this guy talk about the subconscious mind, or the unconscious mind. And I've studied this for many, many years. And he was talking about food. And I know this is a tangent to what I'm going to be talking about, but he was talking about how we've been programmed to believe that we're always looking for our next meal, or maybe we're always thinking if we don't eat now, we'll starve. And I found that to be very interesting. And that really sat with me for the last few days. And I talked to my children about it. What do you think about this? Does that resonate with you? Does that feel like something that you've had a program running? So all of us have these programs running all the time. And we can choose to believe them, and we can choose to let them stick with us, or we can change those 50,000 thoughts a day and we can start thinking something new, believing something new, changing our perception. And even this word, it's kind of such a buzzword, and so many people use this mindset word. But I think it goes a lot deeper than just a mindset. And as I've been I've thought about this over the years, our perception is really, really what it is. How do we perceive a situation? Am I going to perceive myself as a weak person, or I'm going to perceive myself as a courageous person or a brave person? I can perceive myself as a person who will never get what I want in life, or I can start taking baby steps to believe that I can let go of fear and step into those bigger things, like playing big and getting what I want, and having all the things in my life that I desire and want to create. So let me tell you a little bit about my story. And as I'm speaking about my own personal story about the ballroom dance and how that came to be, that I became an instructor by letting go, because what I was really wanting was to see if I could let this man lead me, this stranger lead me. And I'll tell you what happened, but that's something very hard, to let someone else maybe lead us in something we don't know about. But it's also really good because it's teaching us something. And I've had many guides, many facilitators, many mentors, many coaches over the years. And what ends up happening for me a lot of times is I reach that space of where that mentor has needed to take me, and then I'm finished and I don't need that guide or that mentor anymore. And so I grew to the space I needed to grow, and then I let go and move forward. And sometimes we have mentors, coaches, facilitators, guides for many years. Sometimes we have them for a short period. Sometimes we have them for a very long period. And I've had one of my mentors or coaches for like 10 or 11 years, but I finally came to that space where I said, I don't need this. I don't need this man anymore to teach me. I know what he has taught me has been extremely valuable, and it's time to move on. And so, and I said yes to the unknown with this ballroom dance situation that I did, and I'll get to that. But I want you to be thinking about, how can I let go of some fear, or what is it that I truly want in my life? Or what happens when you say yes to this goal and then you start moving forward? And there's all these pieces that come to be a part of when you're pursuing something that you want in your life. And then lastly, the surprising way that confidence is built through being led. And that's really what I want to help you with, is going from a place of fear and knowing you want this thing, this something out there that you want to create, and walking through that fear and getting it. Because every day we can move forward to something that we want in our lives. And it takes patience. It takes practice. It takes discipline, diligence. Sometimes it takes 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but we will eventually get there if we hold tight to that vision or that dream or what it is we truly want to create. So this is my story around this ballroom dance thing. One day I was driving down this road that I drive down literally like 100 times a week. And that's no joke. I'm driving down this road all the time, and there's tons of stores, tons of shops on this road. And one day in December, and this was about 8 years ago, I think, I look up and I see this sign, and it says ballroom dance. And I think to myself, how is it possible that I've never seen that sign? Because it was in a 2-story building. It was on the top floor. And I couldn't believe that I had never noticed there was this ballroom dance place right on this road that I travel 100 times a week. And so I went home and I looked it up on my computer, and it said, yeah, they do ballroom dance instruction. They teach all kinds of ballroom dance. And so I called them and I said, hey, what's your price to take a ballroom dance lesson? And the person told me it was $25. And this is in December. And it was $25 to take a ballroom dance instruction lesson. And so I signed up to take a lesson. Now, I am a single mom and a single woman, and this was 8 years ago. And so I was pushing myself out of my comfort zone because you know that show Dancing with the Stars, it's been on for years. And my daughter and I would watch that show, and I thought it was amazing how these people could dance. And I was a Zumba instructor previously, and I thought, wouldn't it be so cool if I could actually learn to ballroom dance? And since I already knew a lot of Latin dance like salsa, merengue, cha-cha, I knew a lot of this from Zumba, samba. I thought to myself, okay, well, maybe I could at least get really good at the salsa because I already knew some salsa and I already knew cha-cha and things like that. I didn't know rumba, ramba, whatever it was called, but I knew a little bit. And so I showed up to this dance lesson. And in my mind, you all, what my intention was to let the man, the instructor, and he owned this place, let him lead me. I wanted him to lead me because I hadn't been in a relationship for a little while, and I wanted this man to lead me and teach me. And I knew, this is the caveat or the backstory, I knew that when I was married, I wore the pants and I was very, what maybe you could call it domineering or dominant. And I was the one who was always making the decisions, and I was always in charge, and I was a go, go, go kind of person. And so I wanted to let this man lead me. Well, first of all, because I had not a clue, because this is the unknown piece. I had not a clue what he was going to teach me. I had no idea how to do the foxtrot, how to do the waltz, how to do the tango. I had no idea. And so I showed up. I didn't even know what to wear, but I showed up wearing a dress, and I showed up wearing actually some high-heeled shoes because I thought, well, maybe I should wear high-heeled shoes. You know, we're dancing ballroom. And when I started dancing, again, my intention was to let him lead and let him teach me because I was clueless and I didn't know how to do this. And it was scary, you all. I was really, really nervous. I couldn't believe I had signed up for this. And I thought, what am I doing? In my mind, I was thinking, what am I doing this for? Why am I doing this? But this is my nature, to always be pushing my edge. And that, again, is what my channel, what my work is all about. I am here to push your edge because I want you to get what you want. I want you to expand. I want you to grow. I want you to pursue life with, excitement and fun and go after the things that you want in life. So I am dancing with this man. Now, mind you, he gives you a flavor in the lesson for every dance. Every dance, the foxtrot, the salsa, the merengue, the waltz, the Viennese waltz. I'm trying to even think of some of the other dances. So we went through a barrage of dances, and we didn't do the hustle, but I learned that later. We didn't do the hustle. So we just learned 5 or 6 little snippets of how to dance each one of these dances. And at the end of the lesson, which it was scary because this was a complete stranger. I'm in like this place I've never been. And I'm thinking to myself, I better be perfect. I better do this correctly. I better be, right. I better whatever. I was in my head really nervous and really critical of myself because I wasn't uber critical, but I was somewhat critical. Like, I should pick this up quick. I should do this fast. And I can't lead. I have to let him lead. So I'm thinking of all this as he's teaching me. And have you ever been there? Have you ever felt like you have to know it all before you step into something? And I think a lot of times we're programmed that way in our society. But in reality, that's why I was taking the class, so that I could learn, so that I could learn how to be led and how to follow someone who knew and was an excellent dancer and an excellent teacher at something I had no idea about. And how many times do we stop ourselves from doing something that we really, really want to do in life because we're scared of what somebody will think, or we're scared of how it will appear to them, or we're afraid of playing too big, or we shrink back and then become this, mousy type person because we're worried about whatever. And so at the end of the lesson, I said to him, "Hey, did I let you lead this lesson?" Because I wanted to know if I had actually pulled through on my intention and I had actually done what I intended to do. And he looked at me and he said, "Yes, you did. You let me lead." And I was like, wow, that is super, because that's exactly what I wanted. So then he kind of said to me, "Well, Melissa, now that you took this one lesson for $25, would you like to buy a package of ballroom dance?" And I said, "What does that look like? What would that mean for me?" And he said, "It's 6 lessons. And this is around Christmas time." And he said, "This is 6 lessons and you'll learn a bunch more. You'll go deeper into each dance. You'll kind of maybe pick one you like." And it was $400. And it was Christmas time. And my parents always gave me a little bit of money at Christmas time. And I said, "I'm going to think it over, but probably I will sign up for it, but I'm not sure." And I went home and I was so proud of myself. And how many times, you all, do we pat ourselves on the back? Do we celebrate our success? Because a lot of times we don't celebrate our success. And what ends up happening is then we don't anchor in the process, or the fact that we walked through the fear and we did it. And we have to celebrate that success. We have to, because that's really then what builds that confidence. Remember, and these are simple steps. I have a B, I have something I want, a desire, and I take the baby steps to get there every day. I take baby steps no matter how long it takes. I take those baby steps every day to get there. And then when I get there, I celebrate and I pat myself on the back and say, "That is super duper, great job." And then maybe I set another goal or another B or something that I want again. Life is all about creation. So it's always going to be about, what's the next thing in my life that I want to do or accomplish or conquer or let go of or shift or change. We're conscious creators if we choose. I mean, we're creators, but if we consciously choose what those things are, and sometimes it's just about letting go, because we want that transformation. We want our lives to be on the other side of that thing, not being sick and tired of something, or not living like I did in a marriage that really wasn't, it was done serving me. I learned the lesson. Or you're in a relationship or a job, or you are in a place like in the world and you don't want to live there anymore. You want to live somewhere else. These are all times in our lives when we have to walk through and maybe surrender to the flow of life. And this is what I was doing. So what ended up happening was, I went home, I thought about this dance instruction for the 6 lessons at $400. And I realized, yeah, I want to do this. I don't have anything else going on in my life right now. I want to take these lessons and I want to see what happens for me. And so I called him up and I signed up for the 6 lessons. And on my first lesson, again, my intention was, let him lead. Let him lead me. Be in the flow. Surrender. Just allow my body to relax and to be in the space with him, guiding me and teaching me the steps. And so after that lesson, at the end of the lesson, once again, I said to him, "How did I do? Did I allow you to lead?" And he said, "Yes, Melissa, you did a great job again. You allowed me to lead and you followed quite well." And I said, "Great. That was my intention. I'm so excited." I went home. I was just thrilled with myself. And then I went back for the next lesson, which was like a week later. And after that lesson, because of course my intention again was to let him lead, just be in the flow, surrender, allow. He said to me at the end of the lesson, he said, "You are picking up this ballroom dance really, really well, Melinda." I kind of crazily thinking to myself, you want me to instruct people and I've only had like 3 times dancing with you here? You want me to be an instructor at your studio, this amazing studio? Now, the studio was beautiful on this wooden floor with mirrors. It was gorgeous. It was so much fun. And there were other instructors there who were so awesome, but they needed more instructors, especially because they teach a lot of wedding couples how to do their first dance. And I have sung at many weddings. I never taught anybody to dance, but I've sung at many people's weddings. And so I looked at him and I said, "Really? You want me to teach here? Are you serious?" And he said, "Yes, I'm actually very serious." And I said, "Well, let me go home and think about this because, oh my gosh, this made me really nervous, you all. This made me very nervous to think I'm going to be teaching people how to ballroom dance and I really don't even know what I'm doing myself." Have you ever been in a situation like that? Have you ever been pushed to lead when you feel you're not ready? A lot of my short videos have been about this, you all. Have you ever been forced to step up and do something before you're not ready? And what did that feel like for you? What did that look like? Did you do it or did you shrink back and not do it? Did you take the leap or did you say, "I can't"? What did you do in that situation? Because a lot of times that is a place where we are receiving something very valuable and we don't take the leap. We don't take the chance. We give up. We don't surrender. We give up. And there's a difference in those 2 words. And so in that moment, I was flabbergasted that this man asked me to teach, but I was also really in a space of gratitude and in a space of awe that he saw my potential, that he was really in tune with my ability to learn quickly. And he decided to take a chance and ask me to be an instructor. And I took the leap because I'm one of those people that always wants to grow and push my edge. And that's what I encourage every one of the people I have mentored to do, to always push your edge, to always say yes to those things that scare you, but those are things that are causing you to grow, build, expand, evolve. And that's what we're supposed to do. And that was my intuition, you all. When I went past that ballroom and I had never seen it, and I'd driven past that ballroom hundreds of times and I'd never seen it, it was in that moment that my, what I call spirit, my intuition, was guiding me to evolve and expand. And then I took the leap and I was afraid, but I did it. And it caused me tremendous growth and to walk through tremendous fear because I had to be pushing myself to learn all these dances, which actually what ended up happening was they trained me on every dance. They trained me. I worked with the male instructors and a female instructor, and she taught me the female part and the lead part and then the partner part. So she taught me both. And do you know how I practiced? I came home and when I was cooking dinner, I would get my youngest daughter to practice the steps and she would be the partner and I would be the lead. So I was always doing the lead part to practice the lead part and she was the follower. And so I learned both the male and the female, or the lead and the partner, parts of each dance. And I did it, and I was there at this ballroom for over a year, learning all of these dances and getting really proficient at all of them and teaching couples and leading and mentoring wedding couples and father-daughter dances. And we were teaching men just to lead their daughters. You all, it was a fabulous, fabulous experience. But had I not trusted my intuition and had I not took that leap of faith and been in the flow of life, I would have never gotten that opportunity. And I would have never had that amazing year-long experience to grow and change and evolve in a way that I never dreamed I would. I mean, who would have thunk that I'd be a ballroom dance instructor? I would have never dreamed it. But I took the leap and I took the chance. And so confidence was built, surprisingly so for me, in this way. Where in your life are you wanting to build confidence? And are you willing to do the things to get you there? Because life calls us to grow. Life calls us to evolve. And the other piece is, where in your life do you continue to try to lead everything and not give up control and surrender to the greater, the bigger picture? Where in your life do you continue to just be so in control and so tightly wound and in resistance that you don't let go and see what life brings you? Because I was a very controlling person years ago, and I wanted everything to be just right and just a certain way because that made me feel safe. And when I went to go ballroom dance, it's not that I didn't feel safe, but I was pushing myself out of what a lot of people like to call their comfort zone. I don't like that word, but that is what people call it. People call it their comfort zone. And if you're stuck in your comfort zone, you're not growing. And I pushed out of my comfort zone, out of the known into the unknown. And it really caused me to grow. And I really experienced a lot of freedom and a lot of fun and a lot of joy in that ballroom dance experience. And had I not taken that leap and let go, I would have never had it. So where are you stifling yourself? Where are you stopping yourself? Where are you trying to control every little detail in your life that you don't see a situation or an opportunity like being a ballroom dance instructor come into your perception? What is it that you're doing that could allow you to be a little more in the flow of life? And that's what I teach all the people that I work with, is being in the flow, being able to receive, surrendering in your life to see what comes in. That is a lot of the excitement of life, is allowing things to just come in and being given the opportunity to see what it's like, or what's next, or how it's going to change you. But we get so tight and so laser focused in a way on staying the same or staying just like I am, because we don't know what's out here. And it might be scary. Yeah, it might be. It might be really scary. But are you going to stay the same, or are you willing to change? So on that note, and I would love to know after this video is over, please put your comments. Let me know, answer some of these questions in your own life. How fear of letting go is keeping you stuck. And what happens when you say yes to the unknown? I would love to see your comments. And the other one is how your confidence, maybe you have a situation or a story, the way your confidence was built through being led in a situation by a mentor, by a guide, by a teacher, by a partner, or in a relationship. And so I'm going to close out now. I have a free meditation. If you're interested in walking over the hot coals and getting to the other side because you're here and you want something over there, I have a free meditation, and I will put that in the notes here. And I would love it if you are interested in learning more about my Find Your Fire program that I have launched. And I will have the link in here when this video ends. I will put that there. My 5-week program. I'm so excited. It's all loaded up and ready. And you can take my Find Your Fire course. I'm going to be talking more and more about that as time goes on. And then I also have a monthly membership for people to be a part of, where I will do coaching with you every month online. And so I'm so excited about all these things. They're all ready to go. My friend has helped me to set all of this up, and it's so amazing. And I've wanted to do this for a while. This really pushed my edge, you all, to get all of this done. But just creating that program almost 2 years ago, year and a half, really pushed my edge as well. So I'm all about pushing your edge, pushing my own edge, because I got to walk the talk. And I hope you all have a super duper day. Thank you for joining me on this live. And hopefully next week, I'll actually know how to do all the streaming. My son's going to help me. And so I can figure that out and I can join you again with a new topic. But everything in my life and what I want to help you with is about turning fear into confidence. And so if you're somebody looking for that, check out my Find Your Fire program. It is specifically for women. Check out my free meditation. Anybody can sign up for that. And for those women that want to join me every month for a mentoring circle, I am a certified priestess, and I will be doing a monthly circle of coaching for people mentoring. I like the word mentoring better. I will get your fire ignited, and I would love for you to join me in that area as well. So you all take care. Have a super duper great day. And I will look forward to connecting with you next Wednesday, 12:30 Central Time, for this video that I don't even know yet what it's going to be about, but it'll be about something good. And I will figure out how to live stream it. So have a super duper rest of your week. And I will look forward to connecting with you next time.